Welcome to Woodward Wings. I am Justin Tawa, and I am joined by Spencer Raxter.
What up, though?
As we have a packed episode for you today. Honestly, not packed, but what's going to be centered around Mason McTavish as the rumors have continued to flow out of the NHL rumor mill about him being on the move. Spencer, we talked about Mason McTavish a little bit last week, so why don't you give him a little bit of tidbit about what we think about Mason McTavish as a player?
We talked about him. Last year was kind of his coming out party where he really started to put it together. We saw him playing well for Anaheim last year, which was impressive because we know what Anaheim was last year, but he is still a piece that needs to develop. He is not a complete piece. He's not playing at his true full potential just yet. He is a guy that can do a little bit of everything as a forward on this team, a bigger guy, and he would immediately be a top-line forward on the Red Wings if he was acquired via trade. But he's a guy that I don't think Steve Yzerman would go after personally because, again, he's not the kind of veteran piece that would immediately make this impact on this team. He would have to develop a little bit. He would fit the timeline more with the guys that you have, but I don't think Stevie wants to bring in people that will fit that timeline. I think he wants that timeline based off of people he already has. So I think if he's making a move, he's making a move for a veteran piece that can help his young guys get better, not for another young piece that he would have to re-sign pretty much immediately and then help develop along with the young guys. I just don't see that being in the game plan of it. You've seen the moves that he's made. It's been for veteran pieces. It's been for guys to kind of help the youth grow, and I couldn't see him giving up the young pieces that he loves so much, the young pieces that he's acquired for a different young piece that still has to develop and he has to commit money to.
Yes, and I'm of the ilk that I think Mason McTavish is trending towards a fourth-year breakout, but the reports have come out, and for the most part, it's been that the price is extremely high. We're hearing ASP's name being thrown in to a Mason McTavish deal.
No thanks.
And that is an immediate no thanks.
Hard pass.
I also don't understand how the price could be that high. With him having no contract, with him being an RFA, with there being no guarantee that he even signs for term, I don't see how they could possibly be getting ASP back in any deal for a player that has upside for sure, but even doesn't have enough upside in comparison to ASP.
Yeah, and we talked about it. Like, that's going to be the asking point of all these GMs. You're not going to have a GM come out here and
I want Johnny Burgers.
Yeah, give me Amadeus Lombardi. Like, no, that's not going to be the first name that comes out of other GMs' mouths. And like we said, Verbeek and obviously Yzerman are very familiar with each other, so maybe that's just Verbeek shooting for the moon because he knows Yzerman's going to lowball him if they do get in talks with McTavish. But no, I would not give up ASP for McTavish. But like I said, it is – you're selling hope with Mason McTavish. You're selling, hey, look what happened last year. He was a net neutral player when it comes to plus-minus on a bad team. So if you put him on a good team around him, then he'll get even better. And look, he started to take those steps last year where he wasn't this defensive liability that he had been. And now we're seeing the potential growth. If you can unlock that, you can have a superstar first winger, possibly. Like, that's the hope you'd be selling with McTavish. I don't think Steve Yzerman's buying that hope, and I don't think a lot of other GMs would buy that hope. So you got to start somewhere, though, and you start at the top if you're another GM asking for a player.
Yeah, I do agree, and I don't think that the interest from a lot of these GMs has been very they are not salivating over Mason McTavish, and they're not trying to move anything to get him. I think that because there are a couple other teams who are interested in Mason McTavish, the Habs, the Kraken are both also interested, and I think that none of them could even offer a prospect of the level of ASP.
No.
So that also...
You're not giving up ASP for a guy you have to immediately re-sign and still develop.
Yes.
It's not happening.
So we're going to go through, and we're going to try to give our opinions in a heat check type of way of what type of player we would have to be back to get back in order to trade some of our elite prospects.
Yeah.
And we're gonna scale it from 10 to 1, 10 being generational talent. We're talking about the Tkachuks, we're talking about Matthews, Marners, like those type of guys.
And 1 being Justin Hall.
One being Justin
No.
Hall.
Okay, one being Ben Sherratt. Justin Hall's like a -6.
That's fair. So let's start it off. We have ASP.
ASP, I know obviously there's an extreme amount of hype around him. You know, you love him, I love him.
Is Tage Thompson count as a 9? Does Rasmus Dahlin count as a 9?
9, yeah, I would say 9 adjacent, and I would say it has to be 8 or higher for ASP. I think the lowest I would go is 8 because obviously.
So where does McTavish fall in this? 7?
7, 6 or 7.
6, 7.
that was unintentional. But yeah, I think a 7 or a 6 is where I would put McTavish, but probably 5 or 6, honestly, because there's still a lot of unknowns about him. But
I'd put him at a 7, I think.
Yeah, I would have to get an 8 or higher in the return for ASP, just because the potential is off the charts with him. Obviously, you still have to see it, and potential's great, but we need to see it actually happen. But yeah, I would say an 8 or higher for ASP.
I would say a 9 or higher. I want a star. If I'm trading ASP, it is for a star.
And you said Tage Thompson, you put it 9?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
I think that all those guys who you can look at and be like, that can be the best player on a team that can win a playoff series, you're a 9.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But I would take an 8.
8.5 I would take.
That's fair.
All right, keep it pushing. Nate Danielson.
7 or higher. So, like, obviously, I know that's going to piss some people off in the chat because Nate Danielson's the second coming of Jesus. But I think
I would take a good second line forward or a good second line defensive.
Yeah, is it crazy to say at his best Nate Danielson's going to be an 8? Like, if everything turns out, if everything
turns out perfectly, the best Nate Danielson will be as an 8.
I can't see, as much as Nate Danielson projects to be a good player in this league, I can't see him being a Tage Thompson or any type of player that we're seeing dominate a playoff series like that. But yeah, I would say 7 or higher for Nate Danielson, and you're not going to get much higher than a 7 for Nate Danielson.
Yeah, so you're not getting a Dimples level elite.
No, dude, I already know they're gonna go crazy about that one. The love affair with this team, with this fan base, and Nate Danielson is, it's baffling to me. Like I understand liking the kid. He's a good prospect. He projects to be a very good player, but you would think the way that you guys talk about him that he's Connor McDavid. I don't. That's not what we're doing.
We're not doing
that.
We're not doing the hate parade, though. As another player who, this one will be tougher because it's Carter Bear, recently drafted, but he does show a lot of potential. I think we're looking at, I think the price is higher for me for Carter Bear than for Nate Danielson.
I think it's the same just because of how young Carter Bear is.
It's fair.
And that's like, maybe Carter Bear projects to be better than Nate Danielson in a couple years, but he's so young, he's so raw. You don't even know what he's going to look like yet. Is he going to where is he going to college? Is he going to
No, he's signed in GR.
Yeah, he's okay. Yeah. So we'll see what he looks like in the AHL. But he's going to look real small out there his first year out there. He's a kid. There's nothing against him. I like him a lot. But if you were to move on him now, which you wouldn't, it'd be right around Danielson, if not less than what Danielson goes for.
I agree. One of our favorites, actually your favorite, Michael Bronzig-Nygaard.
Man, this one's tough because, yeah, he's my favorite prospect outside of Trey Augustine, probably, that we have. I want to say, personally an 8 or 9 just because I love him so much, but I know that that's a little aggressive. I would say the same as Danielson. It'd be a 7 or higher for MBN, but I wouldn't move MBN for that. But you can't ask for a superstar in return for him yet.
No, I agree. I think he could be a part of a package for superstar. I think it would be a 7.5. I want to put him a slightly above Nate Danielson, slightly below ASP. I think that's a nice place to shoot. If we could get, I feel like a younger version of Brian Rust would be a player that would be able to be attainable for a Michael Bronzing-Nygaard, and I guess that would be where I'm ready to part ways, but I would realistically not want to part ways, and I don't think we're going to part ways. I honestly think we're not trading any of those.
I don't think so either. I think if we make a trade,
and you could throw Trey Augustine in that list as well.
Yeah, I think those 4 are guys that you're not going to move on. That Steve Yzerman's not going to move on. I think Booch you could possibly put in there as well. But
yeah, they're not going to move off Booch either.
I don't think they move any of these. I mean, if they would have, why haven't they yet? You know, it's if they were going to move Danielson, why didn't they do it already? It's like no, Stevie loves his guys. He wants to see his guys get better, and I doubt he trades them, especially again for a piece that still has to develop like Mason McTavish. There is nothing anybody could convince me that would say Steve Yzerman would give up his pieces that he is developing for a piece he would still have to develop.
Yes, I think if we were talking about giving up some of the lower tier prospects that there are definite question marks, like the Lombardis, the Wallanders, the Byams, all those guys.
Even the Johanssons. Like, I know we love him,
yes,
and we project him to be a pretty good defender in this league. He's big, he skates well, but there are question marks there.
Yeah, and then there's also got to be guys in the NHL roster who haven't hit their stride yet who also are on the block for you. The Rasmussens, the Bergerins.
4. No, just 5. I mean, well, in realistic, what are you going to get from Michael Rasmussen? You're not going to get anything from Michael Rasmussen. And I know if you say something like that, the fan base is going to be like, what do you mean you're not going to get anything for him? And then during the season, you talk about him, and why is this bum on the ice? Like, it's either they're really good when we're talking about trading them, or they're not good at all when we're talking about them playing. Bergeron or Rasmussen would be throw-ins for trades.
I completely agree. Just to give you a little, all right, here's
a guy that can play
on your NHL roster. Well, this prospect develops.
And I was a big Moose guy. He hasn't shown me anything. He's plateaued.
He is plateaued for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You've not seen any sign of progression from him.
It was like literally that when he went out with that injury on the West Coast trip, was that 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes.
That was when he was like peaking, and he hasn't reached that level again. And
no, he's a guy you should be able to rely on for the PK. He's a guy who you should be able to rely on to give you solid
net
bottom
front
6
or
minutes.
Something at least.
It's honestly a little disappointing because I also really liked Moose.
I like him too, but I used to call Dan Skipper this with the Detroit Lions. It's kind of what I called Jonathan Ericsson this for a long time, and now I'm going to call it to Michael Rasmussen. It's big for nothing. Like, you're out there, and you're big, and you're supposed to be physical, but you're not. And you're just...
And Soderblom better get more physical this year.
He's still young. I
know. But, like, I mean, let's call a spade here.
For sure.
Rasmussen only has 3 years on Soderblom.
Yeah.
And he is... Like, that plateau, if that were to happen to Soderblom, would be honestly detrimental to this team because of the lack of size they already have.
Yep. Yeah, that's not something we can have happen. Soderblom needs to continue to grow as a player, and we've seen it. We've seen him grow. We've seen him get a little bit more. But again, when you have a guy like when you have a guy like Michael Rasmussen being the guy trying to teach Soderblom to be that physical big guy in the lineup, that's not the best person to learn from.
No.
So, yeah, hopefully somebody else can give him some pointers. And
well, we appreciate your pointers in the comments.
Yes.
As we got 65 comments last episode. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. Mostly bad, but we don't care. We appreciate you guys.
Do not care.
Detroit hockey's harder. Great name. Whining about Anton Johansson not returning to GR when he has a contractual obligation to return to Lake Sands if he didn't make the Red Wings. How can anyone take these guys serious with ridiculously uniform takes like this? We want him in GR.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the contract. We never said anything about the contract or his obligation to play in Sweden.
Yeah.
We just think it'd be more beneficial for his development to be in GR. We think the same thing about ASP last year.
And nobody's whining about it like he's going to be in Sweden. Oh, well, I'd rather have him in GR. And if you wouldn't, then that's on you.
And the one you
This is an opinion show, and we're going to share our opinions.
And another one, in my opinion, if you actually want to hear me whine, is the fact that Belichnikov is still in the KHL, a guy who would be a top 6 forward on this team, where he would actually help you this year, and that's where I do have an issue. But there's nothing he can do.
There's nothing.
Like you
said.
That the contract is with Russia, so it sucks, and I can whine about it, but I can't do shit about it. So
we don't know anything. We never know what's going to happen.
And he may never come over.
That is a actual possibility, which is scary. But I don't think it'll become that. But I don't know, man.
All the repetitive talking is annoying. Let's just see how they do starting the year with Tom McCullen.
Well, yeah, I agree
with you.
I agree. It's just nothing has happened. If I would love to come up here and talk about all the new players that the Red Wings brought in the free agents. We did. We talked about JVR and we talked about Appleton. We talked about Gibson, but it's the dead period right now.
And, I'm just trying. I'm looking up rumors left and right on a million different websites.
Happening.
Nothing is happening. There's light rumors, and that's all we can go off. So we will have better content for you guaranteed once the season starts and we can actually start talking about the games. And I think you guys will also enjoy that as well. Okay, well, I agree that the goaltending just got a major improvement on the Red Wings. I genuinely dislike how you refuse to talk about Mason Appleton signed to the Detroit Red Wings to address the penalty kill. This is a huge signing, in my opinion, as he not only is from the team being the Winnipeg Jets, who had the best penalty kill last year, but he was a big part of that since he was a penalty kill specialist. He is really good at what he does, and the Red Wings will benefit heavily from it.
Go back and watch the episode the day we signed Mason Appleton. I literally said that. I was like, this is going to help the penalty kill a lot. This is going to help the bottom 6 a lot, and those are good moves. But your bottom 6 isn't what helps you win a playoff series. Your bottom 6 isn't what projects you to get better than these teams ahead of you. You still need to add upper echelon talent. It was Steve Yzerman, again, if you don't want me to keep repeating the same thing but then complain when I don't repeat the same thing every episode, I don't know what you want me to say. Steve Yzerman did a very good job addressing the goaltending and addressing the bottom 6, but the upper echelon talent is still a big hole in the defense and in the forwards. I like Appleton. I like JVR for the bottom 6. That is good. I've said that pretty much every episode since it happened. He did a good job solidifying the bottom 6 with those guys. They will help in the 5-on-5. They will help in the penalty kill. Well, Appleton will help in the penalty kill. JVR will help in the 5-on-5. But we still need a top-flight forward and a top-flight defenseman if we want to be a legitimate team in the NHL. Nobody's going to hold your hand because your bottom 6 got better.
And when you're not the Florida Panthers, your top 6 are the players who win you games. Your bottom 6 are the players who don't lose you games. And there's a lot of times last year where the Red Wings bottom 6 lost them games.
Yes.
And yes, you improved that factor, but you need more in your top 6 to help you win those games where you need the offensive firepower to compete, where you need the shutdown defender to compete. And that's where, in our opinion, the Red Wings are slightly off.
I feel like I've said that every episode, too. Am I crazy?
No, I think we have said that every single episode.
All right. It's all right.
Vans Riemsdyk will be the next, will be like Perron.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's exact because you needed another veteran like that. You tried to do it with Tarasenko after Perron left. Didn't work out. JVR will be a better locker room guy. He will be a better guy to lead the young guys, to help these young guys develop. He's obviously been in the league. He was a highly touted prospect coming into the draft. He's been a very good player for a long time in the NHL. I like that signing. Again, when we made the signing, I liked it.
For $1 million.
For your bottom 6.
Steal.
For your bottom 6.
Yes.
I don't want to see JVR getting top 6 minutes.
Possibly on the first time.
But it is a good piece to add, and that will help. I liked Perron a lot. I think, he'll do similar things to what Perron did for the locker room and for on the ice. But the biggest thing he brings is 5-on-5 scoring, which was desperately needed last year.
Yes, and he played a pivotal role on Columbus. He went up and down the lineup, played first line minutes, played third line minutes, played fourth line minutes.
He's a vet that can fit in where you need him to fit in.
And he can play multiple styles of a game.
But I don't want to rely on him being a top 6 forward.
I don't either. That's for sure. AA Greek guy, you're on drugs if you think the SHL is better than the AHL. The reason for bringing him to the AHL is because of the ice physicality, overall NA pro hockey type of system they run.
Absolutely.
You also cannot call him up if he's still playing in the SHL. Goobers need a true hockey knowledge guy on the show if you want to compete with other Wings podcasts. Well, this is more of a personality-driven Red Wings show, and
that's what we
also said that the AHL is better than the SHL.
Wait. I don't. First of all, what's that guy's name?
Double-A Greek guy.
Double-A Greek guy. You don't need a master's in hockey knowledge to know the AHL is more physical than the SHL. Like, what are we? What are you talking about? Are you just getting mad
we said
for no
that
reason?
the SHL is better than the AHL. We
No.
never said
Did not
that.
say that.
We
said we want all these guys in the AHL so they can get North American hockey and learn the physicality of that league. I don't know what you're listening to, but nobody said, yeah, the SHL is more important for them. No one would ever say that.
No.
God, what are we doing?
I don't know. The comments are definitely on one. More stuff about the SHL stuff, which we're just going to speed past. I just can't with that stuff anymore. Chris wouldn't pay for Stamkos last year. I hate to see them wasting Larkin's career like this. Good teams can filter out players from lines 1 through 3. If players need a reboot or maybe someone earns a spot. One thing I agree with is other than Mo and Raymond, just
And
it's mostly just saying that we only have 2 top 150 players in the league.
That's true. Who said that? And
Daryl DJ 84.
And that is, I mean, much like the Tigers, you're asking so much, like a parlay. You're asking Lucas Raymond to put it together and to be a superstar this young in his career. You're asking Mo Seider to elevate everybody else that he's playing with defensively because you can't put him with Edvinsson. You're asking for Patrick Kane to continue doing what he's doing, to continue being a point-a-game guy at this point in his career. Instead of just supplementing them with more talent, you're asking Danielson to be ready to come in here and be a top 6 guy immediately. You're asking Jonathan Berggren to play outside or play better than what he actually is. And that's too much to ask rather than just acquiring known talent. That's what, and that is a Chris Ilitch thing. Steve Yzerman wanted to acquire known talent. He wanted Stamkos. He wanted Trouba. He was handcuffed. That's not on him. That's on Chris Ilitch. We've seen that as a repeating factor for the Red Wings and the Tigers now. So, yeah, I agree with that. I think you're asking way too much out of these young guys way too early rather than just supplementing them with talent and helping them progress naturally.
Yes, I completely agree. And
because, like, Lucas Raymond, we talk about it all the time. Where he's at, his age group, he's one of the best players in the league. So his natural progression is pointing towards him being a star. But asking him to be 100 points a season at 23, 24 years old is kind of aggressive. He was never going to be that elite of a prospect that early.
No, and that's where even teams that have those guys who are projected to be that right out of the gate, like you're seeing what the Blackhawks are doing right now with Connor Bedard, and they are hurting his development by refusing to really get him some talent. They helped last year. They actually did bring, Teuvo Teravainen in, which I would have killed to bring in Teravainen last year to shore up this top 6. It's not the best move, but it was a move that would have actually given you a legit top 6 player who could have helped this team right now. And we got some comments about some players they're asking us. One of them is Matt Grischek from the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's a 30-year-old left defenseman who's still on the market, and it's a tough ask because he gets bullied in the defensive zone. He's very small, and that's just something we can't afford to add to this team right now.
I'm not looking to bring in more under 6 foot, under 200-pound defensemen. Like, sure, he might provide other things that you could, but we need physicality on this team. We need size on this team, and I don't want to just be like, yeah, I'll take anyone now, and it sucks to be pick and choosy when you're not getting anybody, but no, I would not prefer to bring in another under 6 foot, under 200-pound defenseman.
I have one of those on our roster, and that will be Axel Sandin Palenka. Yeah. And I am not willing to bring in another one to put our D-core in a position where they are even more susceptible to big physical forwards like they were last year, and it's been an issue. It's going to continue to be an issue until we decide.
Unless the defensive core is good enough to split up Seider and Edvinsson and actually have them survive. But right now they're not.
Shout out to Saint Vengeance 522. Justin Hall is going to mentor ASP. Think about that.
I don't want to. Why are you doing this to me, brother? Justin Hall is the bane of my existence. Probably a great dude, but Jesus Christ, is he bad at hockey?
Yeah, he is terrible. Guys, it takes 10 years to make the 8th seed in the NHL. But it doesn't have to.
No, yeah, he's saying that facetiously. Yeah, I mean,
You saw the Canadians do it.
10-year rebuild, like, yeah, 10 years to make the playoffs. We had our shot. We almost did it. But when you lose back-to-back games to the Coyotes when you're trying to fight for a playoff spot, you don't deserve that playoff spot.
No, you do not. But we do deserve Travis Stoneham.
I couldn't believe that, dude. You're lucky we weren't doing Woodward wings when that happened. I was crashing out, dude.
The post-game show would have been just us screaming at each other for about a half an hour.
Yep. The Yotes.
That was
their
when
last
they were
season,
literally
too.
poverty. Like, they were awful.
They were already said, like, yeah, you're not going to be a franchise anymore. So, and they were.
That's when they literally only had Clayton Keller. They had no one else.
No.
Literally not a soul.
Shout out the Yotes, dude.
Travis Stoneham, 566. This is legit
rip
the best wing show out there. Keep up the great work, boys. Hey, we appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you,
and
dude.
This comment section filled of negativity landmines.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, man.
You are a light shining in the darkness.
You must actually
appreciate the score, and I appreciate all the comments. I do. And because I'm not hockey elite, I would never consider myself hockey elite, but I love hockey, and I love the Red Wings. They've been my second favorite team in this town my entire life. So I'm going to share my frustrations, and I'm going to voice my concerns with what I think is happening, but I will never say that the SHL is better for development than the AHL. So if you're going to attack me for what I say, just make sure I said it.
Stick to talking about baseball. You don't know shit about hockey or the Red Wings clearly. Mason McTavish, top 6 on this team. Are you lost? He'd likely be a third-line winger. He's going to get a top-line wing.
What's this guy's name?
MyChem9295.
Hey, MyChem. All right, so you're cool with Patrick Kane. And so at that point, I'm assuming that he thinks the top line is going to be Larkin, Raymond, Casper. So that means you're cool with the second line being Kopp, Kane, or Larkin, Raymond, Casper, and then Kopp, Kane, DeBrincat. So you're cool with that being your top 6 going into a playoff series against the Florida Panthers. If you're telling me that, you should go watch baseball. Because that you would get absolutely obliterated. Like we've talked about it all the time. Marco Casper should be a center on this team. That's where he plays his best, and that would provide.
I haven't even read the second part of the comment yet.
What did he say?
I would take MBN, Mazer, Bear, Danielson any day of the week over him.
Right now you would.
Literally right now on this team.
Now.
Guys who
You're taking Carter Bear on this team right now.
Never played an NHL minute.
Over 175 pounds soaking wet Carter Bear. Like, come on, dude.
Over Mason
McTavish. I understand drinking the Kool-Aid. I understand Steve Yzerman was probably your favorite player growing up. But thinking that these guys who haven't played a second of NHL ice time yet are going to come in here and be top 6 options on a team in the playoffs is fucking stupid. Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, that one it was really lost in my whole realm.
That was a Red Wings front office burner.
It has to be.
It has to be. Yeah, Carter Bear will be the number 3 on the first line this year. All right, dude.
Instead of a guy who's already proven
go smoke crack behind a dumpster somewhere else.
60-point season already. I just don't understand it. Welcome to... Sorry, I keep forgetting to read the names. TW Kozak HS9BO. Welcome to the darkness of Harkness era 2.0. Yzerman hasn't done enough to get me watching the Wings instead of the Panthers. Why watch a perennial loser? Call me when this team is good again.
I mean, like I said, again, apparently I have to say it 3 times an episode. I like the moves that Steve Yzerman made in the offseason. I think he addressed some needs. He helped fix the bottom 6. He got you much better goaltending. Those were good moves. But you still have a lot of holes on this team. And I don't believe these rookies or these guys who haven't played yet are going to fill the holes of a top 6 forward and a top 4 defenseman. Yeah, Again, I don't want to just keep repeating myself, even though I have to, I guess, because people think that I hate Appleton.
Dix Insider 88. This is a very interesting trade. I don't think there's a lot of reasoning to it, but Larkin and a first for 2 years. Larkin and a 2027 first for Mason McTavish, 2026 first, and a 2027 second.
No, I mean... yeah.
Larkin's already better than McTavish.
Yeah, that'd be a net negative, if anything. If not,
you lost
if
that
not
trade.
just treadmilling. No, I'm trying to make trades that will make your team better right now. And losing Larkin and gaining McTavish is a net negative.
And another Patrick Kane slappy. Ken Young 3265. Kane doesn't belong in the top 6? Question mark. First year watching hockey. Stick to what you know, whatever that may be.
Sorry, I forgot this was 2008. Like, what are we talking? What's his name?
Ken Young.
Ken Young, baby, sweetie, look at me. You believe that Patrick Kane can survive in a playoff series against the Panthers playing top 6 minutes? Do you actually believe that? Because if you do, dude, I got snake oil to sell you by the gallons. Like, what are we talking about here? I love Patrick Kane. He's 50 years old, and he's slow, and he doesn't play defense. He should be a guy that is a power play specialist and a third-line shooter. I mean, come on, man.
So if Brad Marchand, a guy who has
Marchand was a third liner for the Panthers, and he's way better. He's better than Patrick Kane right now, obviously, and he's much more of a playoff-ready forward than Patrick Kane is right now. Okay, this isn't on. It's not on you. We don't remember what playoff hockey looks like. You don't remember what playoff hockey looks like because it's been so long. It's been so long that I haven't seen good hockey. It's okay. You don't remember that. So I'm not going to hold that against you. If you want to live in the world where you like Patrick Kane as a top 6 forward against the Panthers or against Toronto or against New York probably, cool. I'm good on that.
This is what they want us to do, okay?
Everything is awesome!
Yeah. Oh, my God. Showtime? You're saying that Showtime, Patrick Kane, former MVP, is on the Detroit Red Wings playing top 6 minutes, even though he's a shell of his former self?
We're back!
And he can barely carry play. You can see it in his hips. But you know what? He's going to be the one that carries this offense. He's the best offensive player on this team. Not Lucas Raymond, who had more points. Not Alex DeBrincat, who had more goals on his own line. No, it's Patrick Kane. Patrick Kane, the best player. He's going to come out and he's going to score 3 goals against the Florida Panthers in the playoffs. He's going to carry us to victory. That's showtime for you, baby.
Yeah, instead of asking for good players or projecting progression from our young guys, I think Patrick Kane is going to improve his game and be playing playoff hockey at this point in his career. That's what you wanted me to say? There you go, bud.
And we both love Patrick
Kane.
Patrick
Kane. You got to know what he is. You got to know what he is right now. You have to be reasonable, and you can't expect him to carry the load of physicality of a playoff series in the top 6. His body won't be able to take it physically. Pause.
And how are we about to say, like, Brad Marchand literally was the 3rd best forward for the Florida Panthers in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he was on their 3rd line.
You know why?
Does not matter.
You know why? Because they know what Brad Marchand is at this point. They use him to his strengths.
Yes.
And his strengths and Patrick McCain's strengths are not the same strengths.
No.
You have to, when you have a fucking AARP member out there, you have to use them as they go. And Patrick Kane's strengths are not being a physical forward in a playoff series. It's scoring goals. It's playing on the power play. It's providing a spark. It's not being a top 6 forward. It's not.
And it doesn't help that he's on a line with DeBrincat.
Yeah, if you had a line with a Kachuk and a Barkov, sure, Patrick Kane could be a top 6 forward on that line. But when you're putting him with Kopp and DeBrincat, it's asking him to do way too much.
I could see the argument to put Kane as a top 6 forwards on a lot of different teams in the Eastern Conference. There are debates there, but just the way that the Red Wings are made up, it just doesn't make sense because we have no size, and he would just be...
He would be asked to do too much.
Yes.
And that's what you can't... At this point in his career, you can't ask him to be Showtime. You can't ask him to be the greatest American-born hockey player of all
I
time,
think
which he
people
is.
forget how good he was.
Yeah,
in his prime.
it's
Like I genuinely think like Red Wings fans don't understand how good he was when he played for the Blackhawks. We're talking about a guy who put up 100-point seasons. We haven't seen an 100-point season from the Red Wings in been 10 years.
more than that.
Like that's insane. And Patrick Kane honestly has a more recent top 100-point season than the Red Wings do by themselves. And Patrick Kane,
Sergei was the last one in 95, 96.
Jesus
The year I was born.
wow, that is a sobering
The last Red Wings player with 100 points was Sergei Fedorov in 95, 96. He had 107.
Wow.
But, well,
That'll do it for us today.
that's a bad note to leave it off on. Hey, I like Mason Appleton. I like Gibson. I like JVR. But those don't make you a playoff team. They're good moves, but they don't make you a playoff team.
They're moves that
Had to be done.
keep you from losing but don't help you win.
They are moves that keep you from falling off even more. But they don't project you past the other teams that those teams that we talked about. No.
Could have said it better myself. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe. We appreciate all of your positivity, negativity. We'll take it all the same. We'll catch you in the next one. It's been Woodward Wings. Peace.
Peace.